Good day, children. First of all, I congratulate you all for having been promoted to class 10. I welcome you all to class 10. This is the senior most class, and you should feel more responsible for all your actions and your behavior, because that is what is going to set an example for the junior lot in the school. Now, we shall be beginning with the chemistry classes today. The first class which we are going to do is periodic table, the periodic properties and variations of properties. This is in continuation to what you have done in class 9 regarding periodic table. Now, one term which is common to all of them is periodic. I hope you all know the meaning of periodic. Anything which occurs after a regular interval of time is known as a periodic. For example, the newspaper which is coming to your house, because the new edition is coming after 24 hours, it is a periodical. Any magazine, say Times of India, India Today, Reader's Digest, all of these are also periodicals, because their new edition is repeated after, say, either a fortnight or a month or bi-weekly, whatever. So this is how, where anything which occurs after a regular interval is called periodic. Now, what is a periodic table? Periodic table is a table of elements where there is some repetition in the properties after a fixed number of elements. Say after every 8 elements there is a repetition in the properties. So what is periodic about the properties, what is causing the periodicity, and how do the properties vary in the periodic table? This is all what we are going to study in this chapter. Okay, now the first term is of course periodic and periodicity. Now, periodic, I have already told you, anything which is occurring after a regular interval. Now, in case of a periodic table, what is periodic is the reoccurrence of the properties. Reoccurrence of properties after a regular interval. And this trend, this repetition, this process, this phenomena of repetition of the properties after a regular interval is known as periodicity. Alright, now in this we are going to study about certain properties. The first property we are going to study is atomic size. The term is also known as atomic radii. Atomic radii. I think you all know what radius is. Where you have all studied about a circle. The distance from the center of the circle to the outermost point is known as the radii. So exactly the same way, when we are talking about the atomic radii, we are referring to, if you remember the structure of an atom, we have a nucleus in between which has protons, which are positively charged particles, and neutrons, which are neutral particles, and then there are shells or fixed parts in which the electrons are revolving. Okay, now electrons are there. These electrons are negatively charged particles. You all know that. So for our convenience, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For our convenience, we have given them the names of K, L, similarly Mn, and so on. Now the distance from the center of the nuclei to the outermost shell is known as atomic radii, or it is also called atomic size. It is a very, very small distance, so it is measured in degree angstrom. Sometimes they ask you to define the term, and they also ask you the unit, so you must remember the definition as well as the unit. Alright, now what is atomic size, you've understood. Now what do you think this atomic size will depend upon? If there will be a nucleus and say 2 shells, the atomic size will be this much, but if the number of shells around the nucleus is more, the atomic size will be more. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you notice that as the number of shells keep on increasing around the nucleus, the atomic size also keeps on increasing. And the second thing is that, see, in this nucleus we have protons. Protons are positively charged particles. Okay, neutrons do not carry a charge. The electrons which are outside in the shells, these are negatively charged particles. These are negatively charged. Now, because of the opposite charge, the positively charged particles attract these electrons towards themselves. If the number of protons will be more, they will attract the electrons towards themselves. With the result, these shells will move more towards the nuclei, and the size of an atom will tend to get a little smaller. Okay, so you have seen two things, that atomic radii depends upon two things. One, number of shells or orbits around the nucleus. And the second thing which tells us about atomic radii is the nuclear charge. More the nuclear charge, stronger the pull, smaller the size of an atom. Okay, so anyway, atomic size depends upon these two things. You have to remember this. Now we have to see the variations in the properties. What do you mean by variations in the properties? How does any particular property vary in a group or in a period of the periodic table? I hope you remember the terms groups and periods, which you must have studied in class 9. When we are talking about a period, these are the horizontal columns, and when we are talking about the group, this is the vertical rows. Okay, now when we are talking about the variation of any property in a period, we always discuss it from left to right. Now this is a universal rule all over the world. Whenever we will talk about any variation in the property, it will always be discussed in a period from left to right and in a group from top to bottom. Always top to bottom. See, it is important to keep the trend same, because otherwise if you will talk say from bottom to top and I will talk from top to bottom, every property will show a different trend. Okay, so in order to keep a uniformity, in order to keep everything uniform for everybody to understand, a general rule has been set. There are no rules for this, but a general rule has been set that whenever we will talk about the properties in a period, it will be from left to right, and in a group it will be always from top to bottom. So we were studying about this property which is known as atomic size or atomic radii. Now we have to see how does it vary in a period and how does it vary in a group. Alright, so in a period, when you're talking about the atomic size in a period, let's take an example. Say in the first period, there will be a nucleus and one shell. If you remember, the criteria of different elements or different atoms to be in a particular period is the number of shells around them. So all of them will have, say, 2 shells around them. That is why they belong to the same period, because they have the same number of shells around the nucleus. So that means, suppose the number of protons over here is 3. Here the number of protons will be 4, protons will be 5, protons will be 6. I hope you understand why we are only talking about protons, because they are the ones who are pulling the electrons towards themselves. Neutrons are not playing a role. So protons 7, protons 8. Now the number of electrons, here it will be 1 electron, 2 electrons, 3 electrons, 4 electrons. I am only talking about the valence shell. 5 electrons, 6 electrons, similarly 7 electrons and 8 electrons. Okay, so this is how the variation goes on. Now you see there are 3 protons over here and 4 protons over here. When we are moving from left to right in a period, since the nuclear charge is increasing, nuclear charge as you see is constantly increasing, so the pull of the protons over the outermost shell keeps on increasing. With the result, the outermost shell gets a little closer towards the nucleus and the size of an atom becomes smaller. So as we move from left to right, atomic size or atomic radii keeps on decreasing. That means in any period, where do we have the biggest size of an atom? Towards the left. And where do we have the smallest atom? That is towards the right. Okay, so does this mean that the noble gas, which is towards the end, will be the smallest? Do you think that will be the smallest according to the trend? No, this is an exception. Okay, I will take an example. Suppose we have 9 protons. In the first shell we have 2 electrons, and in the second shell we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 electrons. So that makes a total of 9. I repeat, I am taking an example of an atom which has protons 9, electrons 9, neutrons don't matter. So protons are 9 in number and electrons are 9. The configuration will be 2, 7. So I've taken 2 in the first shell and 7 in the valence shell. Now what happens? These protons, they begin to pull the electrons towards themselves. Because there is a vacancy of one more electron over here, all the electrons are effectively pulled by the protons. With the result, the outermost shell gets a little closer to the nucleus and the size of an atom becomes smaller. Okay, as compared to the previous one, this size is smaller. Now take an example where the number of protons is say 10. I am only drawing the valence shell. This one will also have 8 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now by the way, these electrons are non-elastic bodies. They are like this. Okay. We are talking of the electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and suppose this is a big one, 8 electrons. Now all these 8 electrons are being pulled by the protons. They are pulling the protons are pulling the electrons towards themselves. Now there is no place for these electrons to get adjusted or being strongly pulled by the protons. I will repeat what I am trying to say. I will say the 10 protons are pulling all these electrons towards themselves. Here 9 protons were pulling, but here 10 protons are pulling. So relatively this pull is stronger. With the result, the outermost shell should get closer to the nucleus. But it does not happen because there is no place for the electrons to get accommodated. As contrast to this, if we talk about this one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 electrons, and there is one electron place of one electron which is vacant. With the result, this electron moves a little this side, this electron moves a little this side, and all the other electrons adjust themselves and are effectively pulled. With the result, the outermost shell gets a little closer and the size becomes smaller. So as we move from left to right, the atomic size keeps on decreasing because the protons are increasing. Their effective pull for the outermost shell is stronger. So the outermost shell gets closer to the nucleus and the size becomes smaller. In this rule, there is an exception that the last atom, which happens to be a noble gas, is found to be a little bigger than the size of the halogen. This is a halogen. Halogen is the one which has 7 electrons in the valence shell. Because of the 7 electrons and one vacant electron space, the proton or the nucleus has a more effective pull. With the result, the outermost shell gets closer to the nucleus, making the size smaller. But here, because the entire shell is completely filled, there is no space for the electron to be adjusted. With the result, in spite of more number of protons, the outermost shell doesn't get closer and the size remains a little bigger as compared to the halogen. So this is an exceptional case. You have understood the cause of exception. So this is an exceptional case, but otherwise the size of an atom keeps on decreasing. This was regarding the period. Now talking about a group. In a group, the number of shells keeps on increasing, if you remember. So in the first group, we will have a nucleus and one shell around it. Then we will have 2 shells around it, 3 shells around it, 4 shells around it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. So all of them have say same number of electrons in the valence shell because they all belong to the same group. So suppose there we are talking of say group 1, 1A. All of them will have 1 electron in the valence shell. Now this because the number of shells is increasing, the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell is increasing, so the size of an atom keeps on increasing. So moving from top to bottom, in a group, the atomic size keeps on increasing. And what is the cause of increase? Because of the increased number of shells around the nucleus. So today we have just studied about one property, that is atomic size. So I told you what is atomic size, how is it measured, what are the factors which affect the size of an atom, and what are the trends in the variation of the atomic size properties in a period and in the group. Okay, so for today, for the first class, this much should be enough. I would request you all to go through all this in your book, and wherever you don't follow, you will ask me in the interactive class. Good day children, take care of yourself. Bye bye.